Hey everyone, this is Tim, also known as the Intentional Millionaire. And in today's stream, we're going to talk about what you need to do going into the year of 2024. So, one, you don't get left behind, but two, you have a good game plan that you can have the type of outcome that you're looking for. And in today's conversation, we're gonna have a guest panelist over here on the show. She's definitely not a stranger to the Attention of Millionaires channel. Is Women in Linux. They do a great job of really sharing the information as it relates to getting the proper skills, high paying skills, $1 million+ skills. Where once you do that, go get the certification, go gather the skills, you can start generating the type of income that 1% of the population made, but also in that process, you can now start learning some of the financial concepts so you can build off of that and then let your money start to work as you continue to work in that process. So this young lady, she does a great job, very kind, willing to help anyone that wherever you may be, she's going to show you the process on how to take you from where you're currently at to a better situation. All you have to do is just jump in and follow the steps. So without further ado, we're going to bring up Women in Linux. Miss Tam is in the building. What is going on, Tam? How you doing?
I'm awesome. I'm ready to fight today. I'm
You
ready.
ready to fight
I'm
today?
ready. I'm ready.
We got the T2, we got the T3. They about to
I'm
come out
ready.
of the back here shortly.
I'm ready. I'm ready. I put on my channel. I said, let's go. You want to fight? Let's go. Let's go.
Let's
Let's go.
fight.
Let's fight. How you
So
doing today?
I am doing fantastic. It's a great day, great times. We're going into Christmas. And I think this is a great conversation leading to the holiday because it's good times. It's a time to enjoy, time to spend time with the family, but also it's one day. And what
Correct.
ends up happening, people celebrate the one day, and then after Christmas Day is gone, then the nightmare starts.
Correct.
And the nightmare is not having enough money, overspent for Christmas. Don't really have a game plan for the new year that's coming up.
No
Haven't had a
strategy.
chance to really even reflect on where they're currently at right now. Did they hit the goals or the outcomes that they was looking for themselves individually? So a lot of the nightmare actually started after Christmas. So we
Correct.
wanted to do something different. We wanted to now take the chance to show you how you don't have to be part of the nightmare, how
Yep.
you don't have to lose to the Terminator.
I call it the detonator.
The detonator. I like it.
The detonator. I'm gonna add to that, right? So this is what I see a lot of people do because I've been guilty of it too, especially the ones that are in tech. It's the cyber sales. They got a discount on this class, and they got a discount on that class, and they got a discount on this class. And everybody go spend, I get it. You spend a little money on it. It's not a lot of money, but it can become a waste of money. And the reason why I say it becomes a waste of money is how many certifications can you actually do and study for it within a year? And that's the question that we got to ask ourselves. Like, what do we really, really like? If do I really am I really going to get a chance to get to this course? Can I really use this course now, or do I need to wait for later to use that course? Like, if you buy the course because it's a cyber sale and you got a year, but you bought four other courses or you bought three other certifications, is it worth it? Like, can you really take yourself and say, okay, yeah, I'm in it, I can do it, I'm going to manifest that, right? It's one thing to execute. It's another thing to execute to completion. And I think we really need to have that conversation on executing to completion. That's just my thoughts. So, with that being said, the cyber sales. Don't spend all your money on the cyber sales. Get what you know you can do within a specified amount of time. Not some because most of them only last a year anyway. So don't get more than like I'll say 3, and I'm being generous with 3. A lot of you all are gonna probably go out and buy 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, but don't do that. Just get 3, stay focused, be strategic, focus on what you're trying to do for that year, and then go from there. That's my thoughts, Tim. Okay, I can't hear
I was muted. I was just looking up me some cyber sales. No, but I think that's good because now I think the catch is now because they mark everything as a discount and you find yourself getting caught in a rabbit hole of, okay, well, since it's cheaper, let me go ahead and get it. You buy
you.
it, then you don't even use it. So I think
Right.
that's real good.
Right. And not only that, you don't even use it. You don't even get around to even getting a baseline understanding of what you bought. And so now, because I've done it before, I've bought certifications, classes, the whole nine. I was like, ooh, I got a $2,000 budget. I'm gonna go buy all this stuff, and then I'm gonna set up my calendar to do X, Y, and Z. And guess what? A job comes, or you don't have time, or you start traveling, or you're traveling for work, or you get a sick family member, and next thing you know, it's July
Mm-hmm.
and you still hadn't touched those courses. And now you got another. You spent 2,000 though, right? So now you still got to have time to study. So that's what I mean about how can you make it not spend as much, right? How do you keep yourself and not spend as much?
Right, right. Well, Tam, we're gonna welcome. We got a few people in the chat, so we're gonna say give a shout out. We got Christopher Williams in the chat. Salute, salute. How's it going? We got Miss Tamara in the building. What is going on, Miss Tamara? She said, she's waving her hand.
Low.
We got Before the Billions in the building. What is going on Before the Billions? Holding down Atlanta, the GA area.
Got it.
And we got Tam in the building
That's
saying
right.
hello to
Bum,
everyone.
bum, 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 bum.
We got Beansy06 in the building. What is going on? We got Ricky said, "What's up? How's it going there, Ricky?" And we also got to make sure we get the lights up. So definitely hit that like button as you joining, coming in. We got Keep It Techie in the building. He said, "Hey Tam, how's it going?" And we got Before the Billion says, "See if the company will reimburse you for taking the courses." That's real good. And on top of that, see if the company may offer courses that you can take.
Correct.
So that's a great point there Before the Billions. And we're going to talk about that because we're going to expand on that because a lot of times we miss opportunities where companies offer career advancement programs and projects and things like that to get other skill sets and we don't utilize it.
Correct.
Yep. So we got Miss A.K. is in the building. She said, "Good evening, everyone."
Let me tell you how I read that. Miss A.K. That's how I read it. Miss A.K.
30 shots. Bang, bang, bang.
Right.
We got women in Linux in the building, so I'm assuming that is Miss D over there.
That is.
What is going on, D? And Before the Billions also said, "My company pays for Udemy for me." Okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Udemy has a lot of great free stuff, you all. So definitely get over there and check it out. But don't always go for free neither.
Yep.
Start for free, but start paying for it because we're going to talk about that too. Because we like to spend our money on all this junk, but we want to invest in ourselves, getting the right skills so we can make some money and have a comfortable lifestyle.
Yeah. So let's break the ice. Let's go on and start it right now.
Let's go ahead. Let's get into it.
Let's go. I'm ready to fight. I'm fighting tonight.
You ready to fight?
I'm fighting tonight. I'm out here. Hold on. Let me get my pens. I'm ready.
You ready? So So I think the good way to start this off, Tam, let's go over this article real quick. Let me bring up
Okay.
this article.
Okay. Let me know if you can see it all the way.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Okay.
bring it up right
I got
now.
it in front of me right now.
Let me see.
If not, it's in the back, but I got it. I got it right here. Let me drop it over to the other side over here.
There
Case
you go.
there we go.
All
All
right.
all right. The title of the article says why $100,000 can't support a middle class family anymore, according to a viral video. Now, I've been having this debate online, Tim, and I asked you right before we got started.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the $100,000 mark goes across all of the YouTube, right? So the question I'm gonna ask you and everybody else, I have my own. I'm like I say, I'm biased, so pay me no mind. What? Let me see. What does it take to make 100,000? Is it ambition or skills, strategy, and network combined? I'm gonna let you answer, and and we're gonna see what the chat says.
I think it's all of the above. And
Okay.
the reason why is because I think each one has a place.
Okay.
So I explain. So I think you have to have ambition because I think ambition should come from the fact that either you have fear because you're running from something, or ambition comes because you want better, you want more.
Okay.
Um, so I think once you have that, that means you're aware that you need to do something different. Then from there, going to the next step, and it's not in any particular order. I'm just using it as steps for explanation. But then the next step is you need to get skills because that's the best way to eat with skills. So now you got to hone in and identify what is that going to be for you. And we're not talking about going off doing what your passion is, just doing the kumbaya. We're not talking about that. It's time out for that anymore. The economy is making it very clear that the middle class is going to shrink. So it's either going to be winners or losers, and ain't up for discussion.
Right.
So I think then you got to identify the skills. But while you identify those skills, I think you have to build a network because the key to the network is going to allow you to make some jumps and some catapults. It's going to allow you to have some level of shortcuts in the sense, but it's going to be good shortcuts because you're going to find people that's already walked the landmine, people that's already done it. And then they're going to pass some of that information back to you, one, but two, you're also building a network. So for in the future, when you need a helping hand or you now got a new certification and you may now be looking to level up in your skills or leveling up in your career path, they may be an avenue to catapult you forward. So I think that's you need all of that. But then going back to ambition, you still need another level of ambition to now continue to catapult. Because if not, you can get complacent.
And you know
And
you know how I feel about all this.
yeah, so so that's why I say that. So now let me get your take on that, Tam.
Now, you okay? So I've been debating this all day, like probably for a couple of days now, really. Personally, I think ambition goes out the window. I think, and I said this before in the chat. I think ambition is like a 5 hour energy drink. You you get in the you go in, you're like, yeah, I'm gonna get that 5 hour energy drink. It's gonna keep me up. It's gonna get me to my next destination or get me through what I need to do. You take it and you sit there and you wait for it and you wait for it and you wait for it and nothing happens. Nothing. It don't do anything. So now, why did you use that analogy? Because I used that analogy about ambition and 5 hour energy drink to say that sometimes, and I'm not gonna say it's all the time. I think certain people don't need the ambition or the motivation. I think some people have the right network, have a strategy and a skill set that propels them, and they don't need the ambition. They're just the doers. And that's just how I see it. Then there are some people, when it comes down to whatever it is, when it comes to not the ambition, but the strategy and doing it, they follow the money. They just have a plan and they follow the plan. Some people don't have the ambition, they just have a plan and they just follow that plan. You tell them you need to go do A, B, C, and D, they're gonna go do A, B, C, and D. That's just their strategy. You tell them, they march. Some people you gotta motivate, you gotta say, you gotta dangle a carrot in front of them. If you do this, you can get $100,000. You could get that AMG. And that's just how I feel about it. I don't I think ambition is like I say, the 5 hour energy. You get the hype, but if you don't do the plan to if you don't if you don't do the plan and execute it to completion, it doesn't matter. That's my take. That's my take. Y'all can debate me on that if you want to. But that's what I think.
I think that was a great discussion there. So let me ask you this, because I think you hit everything on the head. But my question is, but so even the person that you dangle the carrot in front of,
Hmm.
wouldn't you agree though that that means that that person, the reason why you need to dangle is because they have no ambition?
No, I think some people are sheep.
I like it.
I think some people are sheep. I think if you tell someone they can make $100,000, and if they go be an AI prompt engineer, they're gonna go over there and do that, right?
Right.
That's not a strategy. They're not thinking it through. They're just being, again, I got these marching orders. I'm gonna go over here and do that. But it's not being strategic. It's not even looking at what's going on. It's just like they say go over here, I'm going over there.
Right.
Right.
Right. I
So
agree with that.
I don't know. I think ambition plays like, you know how you got 2% milk?
Mm-hmm.
Let's call it point 0.5. 0.05.
No, no. I see exactly what you mean, because the reality is you have to think about the outcome before you ever get there.
Right.
So a person that you're telling, then ultimately they never thought about no outcome. They just doing.
They're just doing.
So basically it's the difference in having sight and having vision.
Okay. I agree with that.
So they just have sight. They just gonna do what's up in front of them.
Right.
But the person that's really doing it, they have vision, because their vision is based off of the strategy that they're going to implement to get to the goal.
Yeah. And I just personally
Mm-hmm.
think with the right, I don't want to say leadership, with the right mentorship, with the right understanding of how to get to 100K, I think you can get to 100K really easily. A lot of people don't like to hear that. Everybody's like, "Oh, you got to put in work." I don't know no money that you make that you don't have to put in work. Even at McDonald's, getting flipping hamburgers and go, you got to put in some work, right? Now, how much work is that? The question is, it's not about how much work; it's the type of work, right? Is it reading? Is it networking? What are you reading? How long are you reading for? What are you doing? Why are you doing this? What is your plan after you do this? How are you applying for jobs? What kind of resume do you have? Have you actually sat down and looked at what the job entails? That's just me. Everybody else wants to say like it takes a lot to do X, Y, and Z. I just don't think it take all of that. And I'm not saying that from a person who didn't put in work. I put in time, I put in effort, I put in work, I studied, I did all of that. But at the same token, I sat back and I looked at also like, could I get a job doing Linux? What does that entail? I didn't have no one to tell me what to do. I sat down and I just kind of maneuvered and figured it out. But we don't have to do that anymore. Like it's so many free classes out here that we don't have to be on on the figure it out stage now. It is either you're gonna go down this path, here's the path you need to go down, here's the people in it, and you do. We don't the time that it takes now to for people to make 100,000. Like I talked about this before. NGA, the National Geospatial Agency, is giving clearances to 16 and 17-year olds, and they're starting them out from 21,000 to 92,000 depending on the job. So basically, you're saying a 16-year-old could possibly make $50,000. A 17-year-old could possibly make 60 by the time they get to 2021. If you look at how much money they've made over 5 or 10 years, they could be millionaires by their 30, right? Because they could make $100,000 over the next 10 years. So by the time they're what, 30, 32, 35, they've grossed a million. If they stayed at $1 million, I don't know. It's just I just have a different idea of about the ambition versus being strategic and following the money versus having that ambition, because I think ambition plays on the mindset, and I think ambition plays on not the actual character of the person, but it wears the person down, because you're going out there that, yeah, I'm gonna do it, yeah, I'm gonna do it, but you have no plan. You haven't talked to nobody. You haven't been in different rooms. You don't know what to do. These are just my thoughts. I feel free to tell me differently in the chat. I'm with it. Tim, let's go.
All right, so we do got somebody that let me see. We got somebody that uh and salute and welcome to everyone that's in the chat. I think it was JM. JM said, I think 50K was supporting middle class family in the South, ma'am, respectfully.
Nope.
I
Tell me where at in the South. Let's clarify these things when we say this, because when you say the South, I'm thinking there's nowhere in Atlanta where you're gonna support a family, and let's keep it real, a family on of a man and a woman and a child. I'm assuming that's what we're talking about. Is the woman working? Is who paying for daycare? Are you maxing out your 401k? Are you maxing out your HSA? Money coming out for insurance, car notes? Like, where are we talking about 50K at? Because 50K in Atlanta, Houston, Dallas, Huntsville, Alabama, maybe Montgomery, maybe Birmingham, right? So again, where are we talking about? You say Mississippi, Alabama, Arkansas. Arkansas, not in Bentonville, it won't. Maybe Little Rock. And we already know what happened in Little Rock. Who banging in Little Rock? They had a whole documentary on the gays in Little Rock. Mississippi, again, what job are you doing in Mississippi? Is it in the growth in Mississippi? That's the next thing you got to look at. Alabama, and then you got to also look at too. This is why I always love these arguments. Like I said before, you can go to the Department of Labor. 56% of the of blacks live in the South. But then when you start looking at where black people actually live at in the South, we're not clustered in maybe in Jackson, but we know what happened in Jackson, right? We know about the water in Jackson. So
mhm.
let's really talk about it, right? Because in most major cities, 50,000 not cutting it. 1,700 for an apartment off the rip. So I don't know. I'll take it back. We'll see what y'all saying here. I
Um,
think JM is talking about regular people not in a big city. They don't have a lot of the benefit. Well, but we got to talk about the big cities before the billions, because that's where most of us live. Most of us are clustered in big cities.
well, I'm a kind of push back also a little bit with you, JM, because I think we still got to think about what about when things shift economic wise. What about when the taxes don't necessarily work in our favor? What about when the housing market may change in the area? See, because I think that's the thing we got to think about is because I'm one to just think about this. If you was to go to the store, would you rather have extra money in your account after everything paid, or would you just have rather have just enough that once you purchase everything, you got to start it all over again?
Mm-hmm.
So, and I think that's really what we really pushing towards. Not saying that 50,000 is bad. We're just saying that why not go for where you have a surplus, a overflow. So that way, anything that come up, it doesn't put you in survival mode, scramble mode, or start making not the best decisions because things change that you may not necessarily be in control of. So I think that's really the question. And then here's the great thing: it's individualized. So if a person feels though, and not talking to you, Jay, I'm just saying in general, if a person do not want to identify with making more, doing more, then that's perfectly okay. You just can't. I just say don't complain when things change that you can't control. So we're saying put the odds in your favor versus being react. We saying be proactive versus react.
Reactive. Tim, I'm gonna give you this link right here, and you can bring this up because
Mhm.
everybody, I love it. I love these conversations. Let's go. Here, I'm gonna put it in the chat for you. And
I'm gonna bring it up.
hold on, let me get my cursor over here. Let me drop this for you. There you go.
All right, I'm gonna bring this up.
I love it.
So Tam, as I'm bringing this up, so what do you think people should start as we going into 2024?
Understanding where the money is being spent in the United States. I'm not talking about overseas with the war. I'm talking about really like where money is being funded, because if you look at what cities are being funded, all the new tech cities, if you look at all the money that's going into these different areas, 75 million per tech city, 20 billion per for I think it was Huntsville and Augusta. So what I'm saying is, even though the tech money is going in there, that means the infrastructure has to be built. That means people got to have somewhere to eat, live, and sleep. That means money is being generated into that area, and so are jobs. So if we're looking at where we should be living or what we should be doing, I think one, upskilling ourselves. And upskilling yourself could be one skill. It doesn't have to be a multitude of skills, right? It could be one skill. It could be taking the skill set you already have and mastering it. What I'm simply saying is this: you should be getting paid for what you know and do best. And if you are not getting paid for what you know and do best, whether you're an entrepreneur or in a job, then what is it? How can you get paid with the maximum amount of money you can with what you're doing? And I think we got to start with self first, a self reflection first. And I do this every year.
That was a mic drop. But no, so before we jump to this, I got this up, but before we jump to this, let's acknowledge we got a few more people in the chat.
Gotcha.
So we gonna just give a shout out. We got shoot, let me go up. We
I
got
like.
Miss.
Go
Go
ahead.
ahead.
I like the thunder sounds. 50K means prison, probably the biggest industry in the town.
We got Gio's chocolate is in the building. We got Mrs. Miss Ruffin is in the building. She said thanks. I saw a ton of books, learning platform tools that I would check out from before the billions.
Mm-hmm.
Keeping Techie said, I agree with all of it. It helps. Interviewing skills should be at the top. If you can't articulate what you know how to do, it would be very hard for you. That is
Yes.
absolutely
Yeah.
true.
So Toastmasters.
Yep. Miss Denise said, "Good evening, everyone. How's it going there, Miss Denise?" What else? We got the Thunder Sounds. Yeah, he said, "Nope. I live in Dallas. Need 120K to afford median homes."
Yep, yep. And that's why I say that we keep saying I can live in the South, but where in the South can you live where you can live off of 50K and increase your salary? This is what I was talking about. So pull that up, Tim.
All right.
pull,
All
pull
right.
that up.
Oh,
And this straight from Pew Research about where most of the black population lives, right? And we gotta you gotta be honest with yourself. Like I said, if you scroll down on that, you'll see a map of the USA.
so, y'all, this is facts about the U.S. black population. All right. And as you can see here, the total black population, single, so forth and so forth. And
Mm-hmm.
here is the chart right here.
Now keep going. It's one more.
One more.
It's real clear. It's
Get
probably
this
a
to
little
go
bit
off.
after languages. It goes under geography right
All
there,
right, here we go.
right here. The South, where it says majority of the U.S. black population lives in the South. This is as of 2021. 56% live in the South. 10% out west. 17% in the Midwest and 17% in the Northeast. So majority of us as a black population live in the South, overwhelmingly in the South. So, what are the major cities out of these states that have good jobs that you can stay in and work for a while, have increasing benefits, help you increase your wealth? 9 times out of 10, you're not going to stay in Arkansas forever. Some people do. I'm not saying they don't. Some people do, right? Yeah, still a lot of infrastructure issues,
Yep.
right? So we got Georgia, Tennessee, West Virginia. It, I don't know too many people that know anybody black from West Virginia. Maybe one or two. Like, you know what I'm
I
saying?
know
Like,
one.
right? You know what I'm saying? Like, sometimes we just got to be honest with ourselves. Are you going, if they offered you a job, are you going to West Virginia? You're not going to West Virginia. Most people not no most people like, I don't know nobody in West Virginia. I'm not moving there. You might move to South Carolina. You might. I'll never hear nobody saying I'm packing up and I'm moving to South Carolina. They drive through it, but they don't move to it. Like, I'm just saying, just some things we just got to be honest with ourselves. I've never heard any. Yeah, West Virginia is the poorest state in the whole United States. It's got the it is one of the cancer driven states as well too. They got a whole documentary on West Virginia, right? So then let's really talk about it. When we look at Alabama, I've never heard nobody say I'm leaving Atlanta and I'm going to live in Arkansas because that's where the good jobs is at. We it's not we're not doing that. We
Right.
might move to the outskirts of Atlanta, right? We might, so we could drive 30 to 45 minutes into the city or maybe an hour into the city. But most of the major cities that, and if we consider an hour out rural, in some cases, yeah, but most of the majority of the cities, it's not. I'm just saying. New Yorkers flood South Carolina. I could see that. In the wintertime or all year, I could see them flooding North Carolina.
Right. So what
That's
else?
just my thoughts.
So any other feedback or input on that, Tam? I mean, I
Oh,
think
what?
you pretty much.
I'm done. I just wanted to prove that, that, like, even though we say people live in rural areas, I'm strictly talking about black people. And most black people live 50%, 56% in the South. And if you even break down Georgia and you start looking at Georgia, it start getting real thick around the city. But if you keep going further out, and I drive through Georgia all the time, Nah, we ain't down there like that. We may be in the cut. We may have a cluster of us, 20, 30,000, 40,000 of us over here. Maybe. Maybe. But no, we're not like that. I'm sorry. The only part of South Carolina people move to is Fort Mill, the outskirts of Charlotte. Right. Hey, I don't know why we try to trick ourselves and like, yeah, we're gonna get ourselves together and we're gonna go down there and we're gonna buy a house and we're gonna be in the rural on something and we're gonna do it. Yeah, that's what we're doing. No, we're not. No, we're not. No, we're not. We're not staying in the town with two cops. We're not gonna stay in the town where you gotta you can only go to the grocery store on Sundays because it's quiet. We're just not doing that. We got some people that will, but in a majority case, nah, I'm not fine. I'm not seeing that.
We stand close where we can turn up.
We stand close so we can get out.
But no, that was good. So let's get back to the I'm gonna get back to the other video. I'm sorry,
The video, the
other
article.
article.
Let's
yeah,
go.
let's get back to the other article. We'll go through that. Let me zoom this in.
Because there's some things we gotta talk about, right? Right. Let's stick to the 50K for right now, right? We're just gonna stick to the 50K talk. So let's see how much our audience has been paying attention. How much money in your 401k can you max out with for next year? Pre-tax in your 401k. We starting at 50,000. All right, so we got 2 cops and 4 lights here at Poville.
What's going on, Perry? Perry Unlikely is in the building. What's going on, Perry?
All right, so we start out at 50,000, right? So let's go ahead and knock off 23,000, right? For next year, 23,000 for 2024 is 23,000. So 23,000, right? And we're gonna take away 23,000. We left with 27,000 right now. I ain't took out taxes yet, right? The next thing, I'm gonna be generous and be nice to say you max out your HSA. I think it's 3850. It might have moved to 3950. I'm gonna be nice and say let's take out $4,000 off the rip.
Right.
Off the rip. So you left with $23,000 before taxes. I ain't took out no insurance. I ain't took out
no rent.
I ain't took out no rent. I ain't took
So let's just do $650 for rent.
six. Where you staying at?
This the South. This is
the South. Oh, okay. All right. So I'm gonna take out taxes now. I'm gonna just multiply by 0.7. I'm not gonna even worry about your state taxes. After I multiply that by 0.7, it's $16,000. 16,100 to be exact. Let's divide that by 12. Every month you get $1,341 a month. Where do you live at in the South for $1,341 a month? I haven't even taken out, like, what are you talking about? Help me help you. I'm not saying people don't do it. What I'm simply saying is when we talk about these numbers, I hear it so often. Y'all never take out stuff for your maxing out your 401k. Y'all don't ever talk about putting nothing up for your HSA. That conversation never comes up. It's always, you can make it. I don't want to just make it.
Right.
I want to just make it.
You ain't got to health insurance.
You ain't got your health insurance. You ain't even have baby daycare, right?
Right.
What about your wife may need some teeth? You ain't got none of that. Somebody got a health issue. None of that. Like, come on, we gotta.
What about gas? You gotta get to work.
What about food? What about food? You know that thing, that little fuel that you may need, fresh vegetables, water, basic necessities, right? That's all I'm saying. And what we gonna eat? No cell phone, internet, toilet paper. That's all I'm saying. That's not the that's not part of the conversation people have. People like, oh no, you can make it. I'm not saying you can't make it. I'm just saying you're not putting up nothing for your retirement. So you're gonna be living off this $50,000 for how long? No. You gotta do better. You gotta do better. Let's go, Tim. Let's go. I'm done. I'm done, Tim. I swear.
so so I think we got so anybody got any questions or concerns on this, definitely share it in the chat. I think Denise was weak when I said 650. That was like 2006.
Look, listen, JM said, but why are you maxing out your 401k? Why don't you use a more conservative amount? What's a conservative amount?
Well,
Go ahead.
well, even okay, so even the first thing is, even if we don't max it out, right? And you just do up to the company match. Now the other side of that is you got more taxes you're going to have to pay on said income. So the reason why you're doing that is to lower your tax burden, so you can have more money coming into the house. So it's almost like you got to do a give or take.
Right.
I mean, that's really what that boils down to.
Right. Oh, I think so. Who someone says, "Are you looking for a fight?" Who was that? Was that Eugene? Eugene, fake government audits, you cowards. Women in Linux looking for a fight. Let's fight. Let's go, Eugene. I'm ready. Let's go. Whatever you got to say, whatever you want to talk about, let's go. That's not
Jim
what.
said, I think it may be 5 to 10% of your salary, not almost half. No, we're going by the limits stated by the government where you can get a benefit.
Yep, that's not.
So you basically you lower your taxes.
Yep. But that's a conversation that doesn't get had again. And then here's the other thing, Tim. What we haven't said about this: what age are you making this 50,000? Because that matters. Because now, if you've never saved for your retirement, how long do you plan on working?
Mm-hmm.
How long do you how long you going how long can you sustain what you do? Let's ask that. Whether it's, you know, backbreaking work, mental work, nursing, whatever. How long can you sustain that?
And then what about medicine?
What about an emergency fund? I'm just asking. I didn't even include none of that. And so this is a conversation going into the new year that we got to have with ourselves. What is it that you're going to do to keep your skills up, to keep your head above water?
I don't think that's head above water. I think your eyes above the water. But now then you get
do it again, Tim.
Soon as you get one tap blowout, I'm down.
Man down. Yo, let me get some money to the fifth. And get a little money to the fifth. You know, like, yeah.
Oh, wait, Tam. Shame on you, Tam. We in the South. We forgot all about tithes and offering.
Oh, I forgot. And we got to get to the church.
10%.
You got to get to the church. I forgot about that. And we got to make it to Bible study. And we got to make it to choir rehearsal. Even more gas. Even more time.
Oh, hold up. Then we got to buy food for the pastor's meeting. The first lady's anniversary.
The building fund.
The building fund. The parking lot fund.
The church excursion.
They changed out the janitor service, and we got to pay for that.
The pastor that came and preached this Sunday, the guest pastor, we taking donations. Yeah, pass that offering plate, sister. We know your heart. Go on and put that in there.
Well, sister, I'm gonna put these rows of pennies in here. Don't worry about it. No, let me stop. No.
I'm just asking a question. Like, we really have to have this conversation, right? And it's not to brag on anybody that make 50,000 or less or whatever the case may be. I'm just saying, going into the new year, let's not waste our money at Christmas. Let's invest in ourselves. Let's put forth the effort to skill up. Let's aim higher than what is presented in front of us. We don't have to take them roller pennies.
Right.
We ain't gotta take those roller pennies. You can take a roll of quarters. It's okay.
Your pocket gonna be heavy. They might think you got a firearm on you.
Right. Like, oh, they going off something in their pocket. You need to watch them. That's Betsy Lee son. Or it says,
Yes.
format 27 said, yes, maxing makes total sense. You get to make your money instead of paying the taxes after maxing around 300 less what's in your paycheck. Yeah, that's the
Mhm.
thing. And I think people don't understand what that maxing does and what that could look like. So again, I just really want people to try to aim higher. We talk about 50K, like, oh my god, it's all we're gonna make for the rest of our lives, but there's so much more out there.
Right.
And this article is even talking about it. You ready, Tim?
Yeah, let's get on to the article.
All right.
That's good.
All right. So the article says, it's a six-figure income enough to support middle class family anymore? The answer hinges on two key questions, according to a video, striking a chord. And this one got 100,000 likes. It was an Orlando-based real estate agent, Freddie Smith, and I think it got 5,500 comments on this video. It says, when you bought a house, and if you have children in the making, a huge difference in where you sit in the middle class today, Smith 35 said in the video. And it is. When I bought my house back in 2013, and to buy a house now, interest rates different, life is different, what jobs are paying is different, what your neighborhoods look like are different, like everything is different. So you got to be, again, going back to my favorite word, strategic, right? Now, according to Smith, back of the envelope's estimation, there are two extremes in the middle class. At one end are people who bought a house when a mortgage rates were 4%, and who don't have kids in daycare. At the other end are people holding mortgages with 7% or 8% rates, while also paying for childcare. Right? That's crazy. And so in here, on this one, it says, the rise in the cost of living exceeds that of the income growth in the United States.
Mm-hmm.
Right? The rise in the cost of living exceeds the income growth in the United States. So let's talk about it, Tim, for right here on this one right here. How much growth in income do you think you would get, say, if you were in 2013 making 50,000 up until 2024? How much income would you have made over that time? With a 2 or 3% rate increase each year?
Mm-hmm.
It's not keeping up.
It's not keeping up. It's really bad. I mean, just looking at this chart, it's showing you how. I mean, just look at the housing alone. Then, if you throw in housing has increased drastically, rents has increased, but the median household income is under it. So that alone, that's not including all the other stuff that we just mentioned and we just talked about.
Right. Right. And here's the other part of this too, right? I don't care what we say about, buying a house. There's other costs that go associated with houses. Property taxes, the maintenance of the home. Do you have a HOA? Right? And even in a townhome, HOA, a condo, HOA, is it going to increase? Are they doing what they supposed to do? Did you see the one where the lady didn't pay her condo association fees and they snatched her condo?
I read that article.
Yep. And did you see the one where the condo association wasn't paying the fees and they
Mm-hmm.
they snatched the condo? So you still got to contend with that. I'm giving you money every month, but you ain't taking it where it's supposed to be. Oh no. And now I'm losing my home or it's
Yeah.
a lien on it, even though I don't put the money up. No. See, that's what I'm saying. We gotta be careful with this. All right. It says before and after the pandemic, Smith's video, which has more than 5,500 comments on it, offers a quick summation of economic headwinds that have been mounting for new homeowners. Consider the gulf between homeowners who bought before the pandemic and those who bought after. In the last 3 years, home prices have soared 37%. Your pay increases are only 2 to 3%. So that's why a lot of people job hop. That's why people get the skills, they get the certifications, and they job hop. And I encourage you to job hop, but I am encouraging you to make some more money. I am encouraging you to get some skills. I am encouraging you that. I am going to tell you to be strategic. And it says, according to Case-Shiller Index, the mortgage rates rose from 3% to 7% range, both of which made it a lot harder for typical home buyers to qualify for a mortgage. Tim, let's talk about qualifying for a mortgage for a quick. Let's
Mm-hmm.
do a rundown.
Let's do it.
So, in order to qualify for a home,
Mm-hmm.
the average home last I checked was 400,000.
That is correct.
Right? I think it was 416 to be exact.
Mm-hmm.
In order to qualify for that home, I think they said you need to make a minimum of 100 to 120,000.
That is correct.
Okay. So, if it's only, I'll say on the black population side for males, 8% for males. I think for white males, I think it's 30% or 37%. It may be conclusive together, 37%. It may be conclusive 37% over there, 8% over here. If that's the case, who's qualifying for the homes? Combined, even if we combine them, who's qualifying? I'm just
People that make over. Actually, people that make over the 120 is the ones that's really qualifying.
okay.
Because the 120s, that's now when we think about, because we have to remember, you may make the income, but now it gets even more tricky because you have to now have the debt to income ratios in order. And so the more overhead you have in income, the better it helps your debt to income ratio for qualification. So even based off of that, that 100 to $220,000 range, it still was a lot of people not even qualified at that income level
Correct.
because they didn't have the cushion in the overhead. And that's why we're saying what we're saying, that we really got to start thinking about having surplus,
Correct.
not coming in. We need to lose the term standard when it comes to qualification, when it comes to income, and we need to just go for, let's bust it out. Let's bust it out into the
That's a
universe.
wide open. That's a wide open. All right. Yeah. And that's the thing. Like, again, what is it that you have in your debt, student loans, car notes, all those things attribute to that. So when you talk about your DTI and you talk about all these other things, like, don't drown,
Right.
do it again too.
Wook up. Like Sonic. Because also too, Tam, and this is something that especially for men, if they've been previously married and they pay child support or alimony, that hurts their income.
Hmm.
That works against them. So you know that's why we saying in every possible scenario, you need to have more. You need to have a surplus
Right. Now,
because it just you putting everything at risk when you don't.
now the question is, are you gonna go spend all this money for Christmas? Like the song said, I don't want a lot for Christmas. Like, yeah, I don't want a lot for Christmas, but the thing that you may want for Christmas may cost a lot. That one little thing, that Gucci, Louis, those boots, the shoes, the car, the kids gift. I get it. Everybody go all out for Christmas. We just had a Christmas talk earlier. My my guy friend, he went all out. You did you? I think you met Mikey at the dealership. He was talking
Mhm. Yeah,
about,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. He's talking about they going to eat. They going to eat. They're going to have dinner with Santa. They flying. They doing all the things with Santa, right?
Hmm.
And I get it. But now the question is, not everybody can do that. Not everybody can go all out for Christmas. Now the question is, what are your plans for the new year? Like, don't wait till the new year to activate those plans. Go ahead and do it now. Go ahead and start prepping now. When you said you was gonna get up earlier because you wanted to study, go to get up earlier this weekend. Y'all are off. What, to Tuesday? Set your
Hmm.
alarm and just get up early. Even if it's 10 minutes, take 10 minutes and get up early. Get up 10 minutes earlier. From 10 minutes, get up 20 minutes. From 20 minutes, get up 30 minutes. 30 minutes till you get to an hour, till you start getting into a routine. I'm notorious for it. I try not to snooze as much. I try to just lay there and look at something. I don't care if I read 5 sentences and fall back to sleep. I
Right.
just I just I just want to put something in my mind to make sure I'm pushing ahead, and try to read for comprehension as well too. That's another thing, right? But I do want to get us out of the mindset going forward, that getting the bare minimum. And I think I personally, and people will slaughter me and make comments after this, it's fine. I personally think 100,000 is the bare minimum for what we need to survive. I think
Hmm.
that's just the bare minimum. I'm stating that from a standpoint of not just buying a house. I'm just talking about even renting and putting money away, and saving, and being able to have a, I don't want to say a work life balance, but being able to have a happy life,
Right.
right? A happy life where you can not feel like you're treading water, or you have to wait for someone to, you got to wait for you to get paid. So if you get paid on the 12th, and the car note is due on the 22nd, because that's your big check. You pay it on the 12th, and you just be broken to the 22nd, but that car note is paid for, or however, right? I'm just saying, I just think is there things we could do that are a whole lot better. That's just my take.
do you think that? Do you think that? What do you think is the biggest reason why people get stuck in those type of situations, or people just get stuck where they don't see it as a need to want to make more or go do more
Nah, that could
outside of
be
what you shared earlier?
well, that could be a number of reasons. But I'm gonna go with the first one is, right. We love my favorite one is, I'm gonna work a little overtime and I'm gonna get me a little bit more money. Well, you work a little overtime So then you don't have time to study. You're tired. And the other piece of that, it puts you in a whole nother tax bracket. And guess what you didn't do when you got to that other tax bracket because you worked overtime. What didn't you do, Tim? What's the number one thing that didn't happen? They didn't contribute to their 401k.
No.
They didn't find no tax shelter, right? So then Uncle Sam comes along, and what happens? You owe.
Take more. Take more.
You
So,
owe.
so Tam, I'm gonna play this real quick, because this is what you don't want to do. Don't be like, and I think Perry just shared this, so I got this, and I'm gonna bring this up. So don't be like Spider-Man. Oh,
Oh
don't
yeah, I
be
remember that.
don't be like Spider-Man.
I remember that.
Every now and then it happens. Oh, how this sound though. That's so funny.
I remember that. I remember that clip. I remember that clip. And see, it said, I worked so much overtime that my check was smaller for me, more for the taxes. Exactly. It's the taxes. You didn't do it. You made more money, but Uncle Sam was like, "We thank you for making that more money for us. We appreciate you." It was more
Right.
money for right now. You didn't put that money nowhere where it was actually making money, right? It was actually making money. So that's an issue, right? If you again, so let's talk about that, Tim. If you work overtime, what should you do with that money? Because most people work overtime to go buy something or pay
So
off something.
so for me, it should be two things. Either one, you paying off something because you're getting out of bad debt, or two, you doing it to start investing in more skills, getting your skills up. Or if you're getting a certification and you need extra money, that's the only time I think overtime makes sense. When you're doing it because you got an end goal that's going to catapult you where you don't need to do overtime no more, or as much, because you're getting a skill that you truly can live off the just your standard compensation, or your standard 40 hours, or whatever your work schedule may be. That'll be you'll have enough where you can take care of all your expenses, invest in all the right places to get all the benefits and tax deductions, and then still have discretionary income left over.
Right. So, do you think somebody should work overtime and then take their money and put it into like a Roth IRA, or take it and put it into a 401k, or max out the HSA? What else could people do with that money? Like, I know you say pay off debt, and you say and you said working on skills, but how do you work on skills if you're working overtime and you're probably tired and get more skills? How does that work?
So I would say then that there should be a strategy. So that should be okay. So you set up. So let's just say right now you may not making enough money. You say, okay, the next 2 weeks I'm gonna work X amount of overtime. It's gonna pay me X amount of money, and with
Hmm.
said money, I'm going to now pay for this course where I can start studying for new skills or whatever the case may be. So it should not be a infinity point where you're doing overtime. Overtime should have an end point.
Okay.
And then from that end point, now should be starting the next phase, meaning you're getting certifications, you're getting new skills, or you're using the money to invest in something that you're going to get a payout in the future. Meaning you may be working overtime because it may be a seminar, it may be an event that you need to get to because it's going to be the right people in the room. So you only doing it for, I say it should only be in short increments,
Okay.
because it's something that you're trying to get to, but it should not be forever. You should
So
not be doing
so
it
so what
over
you
and over and
so what
over
you're
again.
saying is put what you're saying is put up Have a strategy,
Mm-hmm.
put up what you want to take care of, right? Whether it's a pay off something or buy something or what have you. Put a time, like we call it in Scrum, time box your time.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, time box it to get to achieve that goal, but don't do it every single month. Like, or let's say you did it every single month, but only do it for a certain period within that month in order
Right.
to attain that. Now, here's the question: how do you handle the taxes after that? Should you be investing? Oh, should you put like on as part of your strategy? I'm gonna work, but I'm gonna take that money that I worked and I'm gonna put it into a brokerage account, because now you could do tax loss harvesting over there if you lose some money, or
Mm-hmm.
you're gonna donate part of that. So I would say, I would take it even further, Tim. I would say keep track of how much overtime you worked.
Yeah, I say keep track, but I also say that they should really just sit down and identify they should not work the overtime until they know what their strategy is. So for
Right.
overtime, they should factor in, okay, I'm gonna make X amount of money. I'm gonna have a goal for this money to level up where I can get away from doing this. But on the other side of that, they need to also be thinking about, okay, but when I make said money, how is this going to affect me taxes wise? And now I
Right.
need to strategize for the taxes. But I think depending on the individual, it's going to be very different. But I think the key is to be aware of that you need to do those two things. And I think a
Right.
lot of times people don't do that. They just make the money, spend the money, make the money, spend the money, make the money, spend the money, make the money, spend the money. And then it's just a hamster wheel of just working overtime to pay more taxes, things like that. So I think once they make the money, the first strategy should be, if they got bad debt, they got to get rid of it, because that's
Mhm.
going to always be the thing that's going to kill a lot of the money. That's even when they're not working overtime, because it's
Mhm.
taking so much away. So I think that's the first thing. I think the next thing, then after they get the debt straight, then that's when they need to start looking at taking the extra money after they get the skills and making sure they max out the 401k, max out those type things. And like I said, it just depends on their individual situation. Two, I think if they're married though, they need to sit down and come together and work a strategy together. Because the benefit
What?
is,
What? They
yeah,
working together?
because the benefit is, if let's just say if whoever is to make the most money, the other person may not. But the benefit they
It's a
can get
balance there.
is they now can put the money in. Now they can lower their taxes by funding the money for their significant other, their spouse.
Mhm.
So that's another way they can leverage the taxes that work in their favor. And it's all legal. Another thing that they need to do is, if they have kids, they need to think about starting the kids at college education. That's another way they can shelter taxes and shelter money from taxes. Is through the college education program for kids. So that's another
529.
thing. Yep. And then after that, we talked about the HSA, the health type savings. And then I just think after that, they really need to also still keep investing back in themselves. They need
Mhm.
to start investing in paying for reading books. They need to pay for the right courses, and then follow through on said courses.
Well,
I
here's the
think that's the key. I think they just got to really know where the money is going and make sure that it's the money that you putting out is for a reward at the end that's gonna make you go one step further than what you was before.
now here's the other part we left out was the other part is donations, right?
Yeah,
It's hard,
but
I
but
know.
but but let's be honest. If you at the 50K 100K level, it's
You
hard to
tired, don't
donate.
you? You tired, don't you?
It's hard for them to donate. I mean, let's be honest.
You tired, don't you? Right? Don't you give something to the goodwill? Like, I'm just saying, it's just another strategy,
But no,
right?
they should.
Right? It's just another strategy. The donations help bring down that taxable income, right?
Hmm.
So again, I'm just saying keep track of it so that at the end of the year, you know, like, okay, you could be hit with this tax bill at this amount. And now you sitting up there playing footsie with Uncle Sam. And Uncle Sam was like, "Give me that. give me your give me your big toe. You don't need that."
Right.
Right. All I'm saying is there's a tax burden with overtime, and just be aware of it when you're doing it, that so that you can protect yourself when it comes down to filing your taxes. They'll ask you, have you donated any money to X, Y, and Z? And you go like, no, but I played the stock market. Nope, but I did this. Nope, but I did X, Y, and Z. Your taxable income that you did pre-tax is gonna already be on your statement anyway. That's gonna already be there.
Facts. Also, Tam, real quick, I want to give a shout out to Peter Investor M. Peter Investor M was he was
Sponsor.
the sponsor of the last stream. So shout out to Peter Investor M, always a great supporter, always coming through, asking the great questions. So shout out to Peter Investor M. Appreciate you, sir.
Shout out to you, Peter Investor. Shout out to you. Now, Tim, I know we were supposed to give away, we were supposed to give, not give away, we're supposed to give some tangible steps before people go into the new year. Are there
Right.
any other steps? Because I think a lot of these things seem like common sense, but they're not. They're not. Is there any other thing that you would recommend, one to do before going into in the new year, without going into Christmas into debt and then carrying it over into the new year?
Yeah, so I think the first thing is people need to, you're going to celebrate, you're going to do what you're going to do. But I think if you have not identified what your skill is going to be or what your skills are, you need to sit down and identify a path that you want to go on. I say that we got some tried and true that's not really up for discussion, because if you want to go to somewhere different, you have to do something different. But I also think we got to get out of the mindset of, I got to be doing everything that I like. I think that's the first thing you got to erase out of your head. What you need to do is you need to go do something that's going to pay you a lot of money so you can buy yourself out of what you don't like. Meaning you put yourself in a financial place that if you don't like it, you don't have to do it anymore. But until you do that, you got to go through the pain to get the job done and go get the money. So I think that's the first thing. Identify the path you want to go on. I then think that you need to make sure you invest in yourself. All the investments we talk about is great, but the biggest component, the biggest asset is always going to be your ability to generate income. And if you don't take time to put your money where your mouth is, your skills where your mouth is, then it's a mute point anyway. Because you need to know that you are the biggest component, and your ability to make money is going to make all of this stuff sing that we talked about tonight. So I think you really need to invest in yourself, and then investing in yourself means paying for the certifications, getting in the right rooms. I think that making sure that you invest with the way you read, you're reading. I think you also need to have a investment in your mental state, because life is going to happen. You need a strategy so how you can still be able to focus, hit the goals, but then still deal with life. Because I think a lot of times that's a component that we don't really talk about too much, and we don't take the time to flourish or nurture our mental capacities. So I think we need to also identify that. It's okay to take some time off to decompress, because when you decompress, though, you should be decompressing on Now I'm taking some time to sit back and just re-identify with where I'm at, what I'm doing, making sure I'm in sync, but also making sure that what I'm doing is healthy because I want the right outcomes and good outcomes. So I think that's another thing. The next thing is, I think you really need to make sure you identify somebody that you can kind of consult with. You really need to identify a mentor, somebody that you can talk to, somebody that you send emails to, somebody that you can text. You really need to start building out a network of great people. And it's not just about your network doesn't always have to be just in the field or the skills you're going in. You need a network of people because each person may have something different that they're bringing that you may need for you. So I think we
Right.
have to identify that. The next thing is, I think you got to get laser focus on that high paying skill. You can't get a lot of distractions. You got to go all in. And the key thing is with that high paying skill, you want to become a master at it, meaning that you want to get to, and I'm saying all this, I'm also talking to myself because when I look back at certain things I'd done that I could have done so much better, so much different, information across the board was so different then. But
Mm-hmm.
the great thing is it's still never too late.
Right.
So you got to master that skill, and then you got to make sure that you get in the right rooms. And you do that by making sure you constantly read to keep your mentals in state, keep you fresh of what's going on. But also reading allows you to be able to start being creative, and it helps with building out strategy. And you should be reading the different books that you feel like you need for you, but always be open to recommendations, because the goal of a mentor and the goal of getting around people in the spaces in it based on the type of outcomes that you're looking for, they're going to recommend books. But the great thing is that book may not be the season right then, but it may be the season later. But because you took the time to pour some type of thought or process into it, the seeds start to sprout maybe in the future. So I think that's some of the things that I think people really need to go into the New Year's with.
All right. So here's my only pushback.
Mm-hmm.
My there was two, right?
Mm-hmm.
My first pushback, I think people need to work towards being intermediate first
Mm-hmm.
and master their skill on the job, or master their skill by presenting at conferences, or master that skill by teaching someone else. But I need
I
for
like it.
people to get to intermediate first, because what we would do is I got to be a master at it first, and we never put ourselves out there to be in the room, and so no one ever sees you.
Mm-hmm.
So I prefer people to be intermediate going in and work their way up in at the job, or training themselves while they're on the job, or training someone else, or what have you. And the only reason why I say that, because the to master is determined by who determines that you have mastered that.
Right.
And how would someone know that you've mastered that if you're not even in the job, right? So that was my first pushback.
Mm-hmm.
My second one is, one of the things you said was networking. I used to think that you only, well, let me say this way. I used to think that I think networking is great, but I don't think it's the only way to get in other rooms. I think your skill sets can get you into other rooms where, and I said this before, where your network may not even be.
Mm-hmm.
So you may have a certain skill set and not even know nobody in that room, and you get let into that room, or you walk in that room and you're on par with everyone else, which opens the door to a new network. But it was your skill sets that got you there, and not necessarily anybody that you know. And so I all I always look at it like this. No one can take away your skill set, but your network can go away.
Right.
And so if you have the ability to have a skill set that pays, or a skill set that puts you into another room where you never really have been, and then you start creating a new network, no one can take that away from you. But your network can go away. That's just how I look at things. I put the ownership back on me, and I'm not saying that you can't rely on anybody else, but it always ends and start with who I am and who I want to be, and I have to cultivate those skills, those relationships, those networks, and enter in those rooms. That's just my twist on that. Um, and sometimes the rooms that you want to be in, people don't even know they exist, but you found them. And so you got to figure out how you're going to get in those rooms. And sometimes it may be buying a ticket. And then another time it may be that you just walk in the door because you just showed up. And somebody's like, you look like you're cool. So come on in. Just my 2 cents.
No, I think that's good. I would say, so um, when you say that the network is, you may get in the room based on your own skills, but I just believe that the reason why I say network is because most people, they're when they're trying to find a way, they don't think about all on them. So sometimes they need
I'm
that.
not saying they don't. I'm not saying it don't. Here's what I'm saying. I'm gonna use me as an example, right? When I first started wanting to speak at conferences, I personally didn't know anybody that spoke at a conference. I didn't know anybody that spoke in a conference. So what I did do was look at, well, how do you speak at a conference, and how do you submit a talk? And went through and learned how to submit a talk. But at the same token, I was running a meetup
Mm-hmm.
before I was before I presented the talk. So when I got a chance to actually speak at a conference, it was just like I was talking in my meetup. But I didn't have a network of people who were, this is what you need to do, this is how you need to write it, this is how you craft it. I just followed the instructions. So my own skill sets and reading helped me get there. But now once I get in the room, because I'm in the room now, I look and see how other people are talking, what they're saying. Okay, now I've given a talk. Now people know my name. Now people know who I am. So now my network changed. And what I'm saying is sometimes your skill sets get you in the room, then you create the relationships, then you create the network, then you bring in others. And that's all I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes your skill sets, you may not know nobody in those rooms. And sometimes you are the guinea pig for it. You go put yourself out there and go from there. I That's just what I have seen. And I'm not saying that it's gonna always be on you. What I'm saying, in some cases, I may not have a network, or I may not know nobody over there, but that don't mean I shouldn't be there.
Right. So I think we saying the same thing, but I
Oh,
think you,
we are.
yeah, I think
I'm just adding that sometimes don't wait for a network. Maybe you utilize your skill sets to enter the room without your network.
so. Basically, what you're saying is don't be shoot.
Don't be a
What's
bump
the
on the
word?
log.
No. Be other more than ambitious.
Sometimes you are the guinea pig, right? Sometimes you are the person that that is the trailblazer, and you may trailblaze without you even knowing that you're trailblazing. And then guess what? It's okay. And that's just my 2 cents on it. It wasn't about my ambition. It was more or less like, I wonder what it takes to submit a talk. Let me put a talk together, see if they accept it, and they accepted it. Oh, cool. Now I got to get ready to really talk. They actually want me to talk. Actually want me to say something. You know, that's just my thing there. Just a little nuance to that.
So let me ask you this. So when we talk about what's some of the things you would recommend that a person investing in um, going into the new year, coming out after Christmas, what's some of the investments someone should do that's really looking to have a different outcome for next year? Because we didn't really even talk about some of the real changes that may be coming next year. One being the housing market is going to get so unaffordable that a lot of people
It's
going to get
already
priced
there.
out of the market.
It's already there.
Um, Two is I think people got to really sit back and really identify with whatever they're currently doing. How it's going to is it going to be there or be around in the next few years based on the change in the in the technical marketplace? Is it going to be a change in the consumer marketplace? Um, so I
So
think it's more of a lot of people need to be reflecting.
yeah, and I'm gonna add to what you're saying, right? And it sounds maybe far fetched to some, but every city has a 10-year plan on what's about to come. And I don't understand why you don't have a 10-year plan about your life, right? Everybody's like, I don't know what I'm gonna be doing in 2 weeks, much less a 10-year plan. But it's a loose plan, right? It's I want to hit these milestones by this time, and you make subsequent changes in your life to get there. And sometimes the milestones that you set may not even come into the same order. They may
Mhm.
come in different, and it's okay, right? But I don't think we're in a situation, and just how I have seen things go about, we're not in a situation where we can plan something for 2 years, 3 years. I think we're in a 10-year plan. And I think that 10-year plan, you have to follow the money. And I think we do a good job of that. I think we're very reactive. Um, I think most people don't even know what's going on in their local cities, much less their state. So that's another thing. What's going on in your neighborhood? What's coming into your neighborhood? You know that new, that new Chick-fil-A that's coming into your neighborhood. You need to know why that Chick-fil-A came into your neighborhood. What was the demographics? What led to that? What was coming down the pipe? Why? The other thing is, I'm never gonna stop saying this, is where is the money being spent? Where are they putting in infrastructure? Where are they putting in new roads, bridges, building these planned development communities? um what does that look like? I'm never gonna forget when I moved here to Florida. uh Lakewood Ranch was really really small, and it's a plan to it is called a master plan development. And when they started, it was really really small, but now it is considered, and if you fly on American Airlines, it's the number one master plan community in the United States. And it started out with just, let's get our senior citizens together, like our 55 and older community. You
Hmm.
got the banks, you got the hospitals, you got everything is very convenient. The gyms, everything is really, really convenient, right? For 55 and older. And then as they expanded the community, the ages got younger. The 40 to 50, well, 40 to 50, and then 30 to 20 to 30. And so now this the actual, if you go below St. Pete and you start hitting Ellington, Bradenton, um and Sarasota, Northport, and all of that. That's how expansive that community has become. You're down there by IMG academies. You're down there by a lot of different things. Now, why am I telling you that? It's because they had planned all of that out. You have Amazon warehouses, you got boating, you got everything you can think of. There's nothing, there's no reason for anybody in that lives down in Sarasota to ever come up to Tampa for nothing. There's the airport is down there for them. They have their private airport, private everything. Like it's they have everything. You want to talk about any facilities or what? They got it all. Now, what does that mean? That means 9 times out of 10, they got schools in the A districts. They got funding going into it. They got all these things. So if you're not looking at what's happening around just in your 20-mile vicinity, I assume say five. I'm being nice with 20. If you're not realizing what's going on around in your 20-mile facility where you can own a business, where you can get a skill to help something in your neighborhood or whatnot,
On
and
some
for
real estate.
on some real estate for the I'm really being serious. Like
Yeah.
you're saying, like what do people need to do going forward? I don't even think 2024 is a conversation. I'm gonna say 2024 is over with.
Right.
It's over. It's over. You got time, but it's over. Right? You got time, but it's over. It's a wrap, right? I'm really talking about being strategic for the next ten years. And I'm saying put things in place. Like the first 2 to 3 years may be to build up what happens in 5 and 6, and then 7 may be another little build session, but then in 9 and 10 there's something else. But you don't become a millionaire unless you hit the lottery or somebody leaves you inheritance overnight. Now
Mhm.
let's look at this conversation because this is going down back, bringing it full circle. Imagine if you had a job with a set of skills, and we're just gonna keep it real general. I ain't gonna even say you're gonna get a salary increase that paid you $100,000 for 10 years. Imagine you had a job that paid you $100,000 for 10 years. You gross $1 million. That's gross. You don't think out of that million you could have put away at least 3 to 400,000 of that, and and have an emergency fund, and maybe some salary increases, maybe a bonus, maybe you took a trip, right? And we make it, to me, I think we make it sound so hard to accomplish. And I looked this up the other day. I was like, well, how many people in the United States make $100,000? And then I went and broke it down by race. And then I when I broke that down, like, well, how many people are in that race, right? And so I think my number for whites, it was 41 million. And I think my number for blacks was something like 16 million or something like that in total. And I got to thinking about that number and saying, okay, well, I wish I had some more insight of how long have people been making a minimum of 100. And we say 100 like it's the only thing that you can make. After one, there is two, three, four, and five, six, seven, eight, nine, 10, right? But the minimum of 100, and I'm trying to get you to understand, like, what does 100 look like making that for 10 years at a minimum, right? And I don't care how you do it, W-2, 1099, I don't care. But I just want people to get into the mindset, what does a 10-year plan look like? And what could it look like for you if you made a minimum of this? And so when we're looking at who we are and what skill sets we have, where are you choosing to strategize to get those skill sets? Where you wanting to work at, or what type of work do you want to do as entrepreneur, 1099? I just don't care. But I just want us to have a mindset of a 10-year plan and set that up and execute that. I don't care if you communicate it to somebody or not. I just want us to understand, like, at the end of the day, if you're not doing it, somebody else is doing it. If you don't take that job, somebody else will. If you're not willing to make more money, somebody else will. So you got to think about what what side of the track or the hamster wheel you want to be on. I want to be on the hamster wheel where I can get off. I don't want to keep running. I want to be able to take a break. And if you look at your life, and people like, oh yeah, do it one day at a time, and you can only do, yeah, sounds good, right? But that one day at a time come real quick. How you put a one in the chat if you accomplished every goal you wanted to do this year. Every goal, did you hit every mark? Put a one in the chat if you hit every mark. I know I didn't. I didn't hit every mark for me. You know why? Because some days I didn't want to do nothing. Some days I was like, I'm out. I want to go do this. I'm about to hit these streets. I'm about to do blah, 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 blah. I'm about, yeah, And then some days I was like, nah, I'm on it. I'm focused. I'm dialed in. And I get dialed in and I'm like, nah, I'm finna go to sleep. I'm just saying. Danielle, thank you for gifting Women Unlimited memberships. We appreciate you, man. We appreciate you. So, Sir Octavius of Williamsburg, we see you out there. All right. And let me be clear about this. I did not come up with this like what I just talked about, like, oh my goodness, this is so no. If Tim knows, we have our conversations on Sundays.
Mm-hmm.
And I have been talking about, plans and 10-year marks for quite some time now. Like, I'm like, Tim, how long until you retire? I'm looking at 10 years to do X, Y, and Z. I'm looking at, I want to do this, that, and other, right? And some things are not going to be accomplished by yourself. Let's be clear. Some things you're going to have to say, and this is the idea of Scrum. If your plan, and let me say it this way too, depends on someone else, you have already failed.
Mm-hmm.
It sounds hard, I know,
but it's true.
your plan cannot depend on someone else. In tech, we call that a bottleneck. You know what I mean? Like,
it's a glitch in the program.
right. You depending on who? Oh no, you've been where with who? Yeah. And so, for me, that has been the most, um that has been the most that I've gotten out of the past. I say probably about the past 3 years is my planning has been wrong. I need to start thinking about planning for I need to start thinking about planning for a 10-year plan. So, okay, w- what skill sets do I need to have that's going to net me the most right now? And where is the market going? And what skill set do I need to add so I could be ahead of the game and not reactive, and choose where I want to go? I don't want to get skill sets that someone dictates to me, this is all you're worth and this is all you can do. I'm going to get skill sets that say, I don't want to work for you. I want to go over here and work over here because I like that work. And you're not paying enough, or you're paying enough, but I don't even like you like that. I'm going over here and work over here because I want to dictate where I want to work, what I want to do without someone dictating to me what I got to do, and then devaluing my time and devaluing what I do while I'm there. Now, people ask, well, they'll say, You're senior. You've been in the game. You done all these things." I hear all these line items of excuses, is like I like to call them. What I want to say is, be look out what's in the future in terms of money, where the government spending, local, state, and federal, because that's really going to determine like where areas are going to be the next ones with the high income bracket, high income money going in, A schools, and so forth. And then look at what skill sets are centered around those areas. But also look at yourself. If you know you lazy and you can only read one book every 6 months, then so be it. But maximize what you read. Maximize your time, right? Maximize your time. And it's so hard. I know it is, because I struggle with it all the time. I'm on a live right now and I should be doing some other stuff because I got some stuff that's getting delivered tomorrow. But at the same token, I came to share this with you all. Like, a lot of times I sit on these lives and I listen to people, and I don't hear plans. I hear excuses, and I hear a great amount of excuses, but I never hear any plans. I never hear any solutions, and I never ever hear anybody say, "I've done this and I failed, and so I went back and I went back and I did the same thing again, but I made a left. I made a left on MLK." I never hear anybody say they did a little something different. And I was just saying, instead of doing a 1 year, 2 year plan, make yourself a 10-year plan. But understand where the money is. And if y'all ever been to Women in Linux on Wednesdays, if you missed out last night, I'm sorry y'all missed out, because we had Ramona Jackson on there from Rise 8. We were talking about different pay bands, and 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 just being in tech and maneuvering, and how can you be in tech? I've been doing tech now for 22 years. I'm not giving you nothing that I haven't done or failed at, or anything. I'm just trying to get y'all to understand your mindset got to shift, and you need to be planning your life out for 10 years. There are going to be some bumps and bruises, and it's going to be some failures in there. But I hope you have more wins than you have failures. I'm done, Tim. I'm done.
That was good. That was good, Tam. So we just made our turn from MLK Boulevard because we was in the colder side
We was in the
and it was
cul-de-sac.
dark.
I'm done. I'm done.
But no, that I mean that was a mic drop. I mean that's really what it really boils down to: planning, having a game plan. Not like like we stated earlier, it's really the vision of where you carrying your life, and
Right.
not just survival of life.
Right.
Um,
And I want to address the question Danielle had here. Danielle, you said interesting. Wouldn't a single point of failure be dependent on yourself and yourself alone? Yes, it would. However, what I'm saying is if you are making your plan a 10-year plan and your plan involves waiting on somebody to give you $500 to go get an exam, or your plan involves waiting on somebody to give you the go ahead to make a decision about your life, you've already failed. There's nothing wrong with getting advice. There's nothing wrong with seeking out mentorship. And there's nothing wrong with those things. But you're not dependent on those things to make you move to the next step. And that's what I mean about depending on self. Go ahead, Tim.
right. So basically what you're saying is you should already be running, and those things should add to you going faster versus you standing still
Mm-hmm.
and you never started walking yet. You never
Correct.
move.
Right. The room keep rotating, but you in the center.
Monopoly. You still in jail.
Right. Yep.
No, that's she said he said totally agree with you.
Yep. And I think you said community is so great, whether it is family or whatever, due to the security that it provides. Really bad. We moved away from this at some point. Well, I think we moved away from that at some point because we realized that some people weren't going anywhere. And we also realized that some people are not here to help you, they're more here to harm you. And we also realized that some people just don't care nothing about you. It's like,
Right. And that's a great point. I think we should probably touch on that too, because I think going into the new year, building out your plan, you have to know that most of the time it's going to be you and the people that's in your network, in your circle, the people that has a like-minded vision, like-minded goals, and they moving towards that one. You also have to know that your closest friends and family, they may not be in sync with you. They may be distractions for you. So you got to have the tough conversations to let them know you don't love them any less, but you got something you're going after right now that's going to require a lot more time than you was initially given prior to you really start figuring out and started your process of running, moving, um, focus on pressing the ball forward. So you really got to have that conversation and know that it has nothing to do with nobody from the standpoint of them as people, but you got to do it in spite of all of
mm,
that. And I think that's really important. But I also think we got to think about too, you never know who's watching. So don't, it's not for you to badger or get mad or get upset. It's you got to do it in spite of. And then the ones that want to, they're going to come ask questions. They're going to, so you may even pull some aboard later, but
mm-hmm.
it's going to be a lot of people watching that you don't know that's watching.
And here's another one. Here's another one too, because I think our community is very riddled with this, and it's very sad in some cases. And I had this conversation with some of my members all the time. Um, and I'm gonna always use myself as the example first. Um, I can remember um when and this is goes back to family and community. I can remember when I uh made it made it to my first 100,000, right? And I called my mom I was like, Mom, yeah, if when I get ready to move to DC, they're gonna pay me 115,000. This is back in 2008. And she was like, Tamika, ain't nobody gonna never pay you that kind of money, child. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And what I learned from that interaction with my mom was not the fact that she couldn't see it for herself. It was more or less of the fact that she had to she didn't see it for me, one, and then she didn't understand what I did. And so in some cases, just in some cases, some of you are going to be talking to people that are never going to see you the way you see yourself. And in some cases, you're going to be talking to people and there's going to be an immediate turnoff of the conversation of talking about money or goals or future plans because they're mentally stuck and they can't even see how you can even move in that manner. And then there's some people you got to be from the show me state. You just got to do it. You gotta show them and do it, and then and sometimes you just gotta be like, you gotta show up to the game. Like sometimes you just gotta show up to the game and just be like, now you see that, hey. Sometimes, right? Sometimes, but I'm only I like I said, I'll use myself as the excuse, um, as the guinea pig here, to say that, um, don't be discouraged by that. Um, use that as a motivation, but also use it as a way to say to yourself, I got to show more people. I got to get it. I got to get out here and show people that they can do this. Right now, this
Mhm.
is where I go back to ambition, Tim. Here's the ambition. The ambition is, how can I make, how can I create an environment where I can show at least 10,000 people how to make 200,000.
Mhm.
That's the ambition. That's ambition for me. So how can I show 10,000 people how to make 200,000? That's ambition for me. That's why I go for that.
$20 million team.
A $20 million team. We all move. We move collectively. We understand it. We understand where the money flows. We understand where we need to invest at. We meet up every year. We have an event for investments for real estate. We sit around, we talk. There's no jealousy. There's no envy. Oh, did you make 300,000 last year? Okay, well, what we need to do, we need to set up a room because they over here at 200. How did you get to 300? Okay, we're gonna break up. Y'all go over here. Those that are at 200 or 250, y'all go over here. He at three. Which you was at four? You was at four last year? Let's go over here. We need to talk to the people that's over people that want to go to 400. Go over here. We're going to talk about how we got there, what we had to do. There's no jealousy, there's no envy, there's no nothing, because we, you know what we are here to do? We're here to build. I don't want to be at 4, 5, 6, 7, 800,000 by myself. Why I gotta look across the room and don't nobody look like me? I don't see them for days, I don't see them for miles, I don't see them for years.
You're there for 10
Don't
years.
see him for 10 years. All my life I had to fight. Right? Why can't that be a thing? Right? Why can't it be a thing? Like we sit around and we did this at CubeCon, and we at CubeCon we sat around and we talked about, we was like, man, where was you at last year? Oh, you was at 1.5 million. What did you do? Well, I did this. Okay, cool. Oh, so you okay. I see you making $100,000 a month on speaking. Okay. So what I gotta do now? This is how you do it. Blah 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 blah. Everybody taking notes. Okay, can I call you in 2 weeks after the conference? This is what I'm gonna set up and this is what I'm doing. Okay, cool. Okay, so you wrote 5 books last year. You didn't do them by yourself. You co-authored them. How did you? What was your layout? I'm gonna come up with a plan and I'm gonna give you my layout. What are you thinking? Okay, cool. This is what it is. Okay, cool. Okay, now that you did that, you're okay. Now you reading your books on Spotify. Oh, oh, so you making O- okay. I'm with it. So let's meet back up in another 6 months. And we even talked about we thought we're gonna meet up every month. We just gonna pick a city and we're gonna all meet in the city and get together. Why? Because we understand the movement. We understand what it takes. We understand what it needs to be. So now how can we all get together so we all make sure that we're all eating? There's no reason why everybody sitting in that group can't can't be a multimillionaire. And I'm not talking about being a multimillionaire in 30 years. I'm talking about being a multimillionaire in 10 years, 15 years. I'm not talking about waiting until you 30 until your 401k gets to a certain point. That's what's one pocket. That's just one bucket. I'm talking about how can I make be a multimillionaire in 10 years off of just my skill sets alone. I can be a multimillionaire on my real estate. I could be a multimillionaire on my speaking events. I could be a multimillionaire on all these things. How can I do that? And how can we collectively move together to make that work? But we will sit here and have doubt about 100,000, and it's just the tip of the iceberg. It ain't even the rest of everything else. And 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 when I sit back and I look at it, I was like, man, I'm just disappointed. I'm disappointed in the fact that I have to have the conversation to convince you. I've already done it. I'm trying to convince you can do it. I gotta trick you to want to be wealthy. I gotta trick you to want to be rich, not just for you, but for your family. So when your mama gets sick, you can you can go up there and take care of your mama. Your daddy gets sick, you can go take care of your daddy because your mama don't have the money to take care of her, and the dad don't have enough to take care of. The funds is limited. Your brother went to jail, but can't nobody go bail him out because it's the fine is 500,000 and ain't nobody got it. I'm talking about being able to take care of
Mhm.
things where you need to take care of. Where you like, oh, I can go invest in that real estate. They want $1 million for this triplex. Oh, okay. Well, they want $1 million for this triplex or this quadplex. I can go live in on an occupied 3.5% down, but now I gotta go get some money from somebody, some lender that's gonna charge me 15% on top of that money. But I can't get that money. Like we I don't know, Tim. I'm done. I can go on. I man rant.
We
Man
we
rant over.
need to we need to start owning blocks, and then cities. Daniel had a great point. Say, loving the conversation. How do we pull each other? That's how we do. We pull each other up the ladder. It is in me these type of movements that have a real visible impact.
And
And he said, I have plenty of people in my own family who think 100K a year is achieved only by a select few, those who are lucky, etc.
they're not in your family. They on some of them on this stream. Some of them sitting in the comments on the stream. Some of them gonna watch this replay this stream, and I'm gonna call them out. It's cool. I'm gonna get called all kind of names. It's all good. I know how to type. You know what I mean? Like some of them sitting in the comments. Some of them gonna replay this. They're gonna say it's hard. They're gonna say you can't do it, and all I'm gonna say is they just not ready. When you say you can't do it, that just means you're not ready. Just when you say that to me just means you're not ready. And it also lets me know that in your circle, you probably don't know nobody that make 100,000. And if you did know somebody that make 100,000, they don't even want to share that information with you.
Or they shared it and they don't believe them. Because I found, even in my own family, when you share the information with them at the family get-togethers and stuff, it's always something else. It's like they try to one up you on every excuse.
Hmm.
And you just like, okay, you got it. But I'm gonna go through real quick, and we're gonna give a shout out to all the super chats. Thanks to
Go
everyone
ahead.
that supported women in Linux. We got Uncle Stu in the building saying watching, supporting the stream. Salute and thanks Uncle Stu for the support. We got Mr. Daniel. He gifted women in Linux some memberships. Salute Daniel. Thanks for the memberships.
We appreciate you.
We got he also became a member. So thank you again, Daniel, for becoming a member to Women in Linux.
100K earner.
We appreciate salute you. We got Miss Denise. She said, thanks for the content. Thanks for the super chat, Miss Denise. We appreciate you. Uncle Stu, he sent a $10 super chat. He said one man educated 12 and the 12 educate 3,000. That 3,000 took over the world. This is how to reach your number. Remember, one was given the promise, yet he didn't see it yet. The promise was complete.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's why we're gonna just keep giving it. And I'm like this when it comes to all of this, Tam. My thing is this: you give it, we just gonna keep pumping out the information because we know that casualties is part of war.
Oh yeah.
But the ones that's gonna fight with us, it's gonna be a grand victory.
Let me ask you: do you think we're gonna have more casualties than wins?
Yes. We're gonna have a lot of casualties. It's gonna almost be like 300.
There's a lot of casualties. Ooh, 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 ooh.
It's gonna
That's a
be a
body
lot of
right.
casualties.
Look, ooh, that's a body right there. Don't step on that sword. Ooh, ooh, ooh.
But I think you really touched on the key point though. I think a lot of people, we got to really work on our belief. We got to work on our belief and we got to execute. I just think that that's a big challenge for us is we just don't believe. And even when somebody come that can show them got a tried and true from zero to actually done it. And
soup to nuts, as we say.
And they just won't, they're just gonna find every reason why not to.
Right.
And it's just unfortunate because what people really don't know is it's very rare when you're trying to really get it out of the mud that you run across somebody that's willing to genuinely help you. And sometimes a lot of people only get maybe one or two shots in their lifetime. So I mean, and I always say it's kind of like this: instead of sitting back for people always trying to find why it don't work, why not just do it and see if it's legit or not? It's just easy just to let me go try it and see how it work out for me.
Right.
But that's like what we call too much work.
Too much work. Listen, I was looking at a text earlier. I need to go back and reread it. I was looking for my phone so I could read it, but in general, the text was from my manager and the owner of the company, and he was like, "I'm glad to have you aboard." And one of the things he stated, he was like, and this ties into this. He said, "I know you have ideas, but come up with your strategy to take over." And as cliche as Pinky and the Brain sounds, if you really go back and look at Pinky and the Brain, like from a high level, every day they had a plan to take over the world. Whether it was the best plan or not, It was a plan every single day to to take over the world. That was the goal. That was the North Star. So my question is, what is your North Star? And what are you going to do within that to get there? Now, when you first start, you may have a group of people with you. But mark my words, by the time you hit year number 5, you won't even know where they at.
That was engineering. We started with 20, ended with 2.
Don't even know what they'll be back. I don't even know what they look like no more.
They started dropping like flies. I'm like, man.
What is your North Star? What and how do you plan on getting there? And you got to remember, you got to be just as flexible with the people that you meet, because some of them ain't gonna stick around. And they're not gonna stick around because they're jealous of you or of that. You're just gonna lose touch with them. They're just your conversations aren't gonna be the same. You're gonna be talking about, man, did you see what happened with Apple and that stock split? And they gonna be like, child, you know I can't afford no Apple, girl. I could barely afford the apples from the store, girl. You were like, oh, okay, yeah. So, next conversation. Hey, I was thinking about getting together and we go out here and do brunch at Roof Chris. Girl, I ain't going over there. What was that Dion said today? What was that? They ain't got no Hennessy lemonade at Roof Chris. I can't go to no spot like that. I need to go place where they got that. Where they ain't got that like that. Like it's just gonna be a different vibe for you. And guess what? It's okay. You just gotta know when you can hop in and out of them lanes. You gonna have your friends that you can go have Hennessy lemonade with, and you got friends where you can go tour the the Hennessy plant.
Right.
You just gotta know when to, when to utilize them skills.
Right. It's like the weed man. The one that grow it and the one that sell it.
Yeah.
They may be different.
Yeah, you just gotta know, man. And it's what's so funny to me about all of this is I say it, but you gotta live it in order to understand it.
Mm-hmm.
And you gotta, yeah. Oh, Uncle Sue want to come up. So it's your stream, Tim. I'm good. Whatever you want to do.
We could bring them up.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna bring him up. I dropped the link. We got a few more people that's we got a few more people. So welcome everyone that joined the chat. Welcome. We're gonna bring up Uncle Stu, but let me give a shout out to Miss A. K with the $5 super chat. We appreciate you.
You gotta do it like this, Tim. You gotta do Miss A and did the 3 gulps for water. Like you do it like
the sonnet.
Yeah.
We appreciate you. We also got Miss Booked. Also with the super chat. We thank you. Appreciate you. Thank you. Let me drop the link.
And I'll give a shout out to Natasha. How you doing? Oh, Natasha, send me your resume.
Anybody want to come up? We can drop the link. You can join the chat. We ain't gonna go too much longer, but we definitely want to respect everyone's time. But we wanted to bring the great conversation as we going into the year 2021. 24.
Yeah.
And your 10-year game plan should be for 2034.
Mm-hmm. Come up with your game plan. And then you don't have to come up with it all in one night. Just strategize. Look at what's going on. Like I say, every city got a 10-year plan. If you're not happy with your job, why? What you want to do, where you want to go, where you want to be, what do you want to move to? What's going on? Like, I don't know, man. Don, I'm still waiting for you to set your appointment, Don. We had a $50 million plan for you. What had happened?
We got Mr. Black, Seattle, the Seattle Black veteran in the building. What is going on, sir? How's it going?
Beautiful. Listen to you both have a great conversation. I haven't been online in about 6 months. How are you two doing? Happy holidays,
Happy
Queens.
holidays.
Same to you.
How you
Hello.
been?
Santa Claus told us you was coming up, so we ready.
No, actually, I've been laying back in the cut. I am, and I got to talk to everybody later because I bought 2 properties. I'm moving out to the ocean, and I got a new studio.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and so you got to keep it incognito.
Yeah. Gotcha.
Letting everybody know where you're coming from. But I've been off for actually about almost 3 months now, and that's why I saw you. A king and queen. I saw you guys, and I appreciate you having me up. But yeah, when we get to this spot, I'm gonna we're gonna have to bring you up because mostly I want to talk to people because I'm a veteran and I just bought 2 properties in this high interest rate. And what you two are talking about, I mean, what's the subject? It was Gen X.
Gen Z. It was Gen Z.
Okay. All right. So I mean, because I don't know because for me, I've been laying low with dealing with the problem with Gen Zs, but I'm actually working with a lot of the people. I have an organization where we give over about $40,000, and we contribute to homeless people who don't have food. We do pet things, and we are doing. Actually, I just run into some brothers from the Black Buffalo Soldiers. We're doing it with those guys too. So when you guys talk about the Gen Z, I would say this, and I had to be kind of with respect, is that honestly, when I talk to my brokers and my financial people, the Gen Z people are not focusing on their money, their longevity. It is, what we see right now, and they think that's what it is. I understand this because, the most beautiful thing that we have is the present. We can look at the past, but we have to look at our future for this here. A property, and I don't get into financial money, but I will tell you, the 2 properties that I am getting involved with, I own 5 properties. And so only those 5 properties. And the only thing I would say with the Gen X is
Gen X or Gen Z?
Gen Z. Let's give it. You get me, girl. Yeah, you get me. You guys get me because I haven't. Look, if you look at the back of my studio, I had 2 cats, and I'm fighting them away from all my equipment, and I got to get a whole new studio. But I would say this with our Gen Z and Gen X, if we say, you're living in the moment right now. You have to plan for the future. So this is what we're doing right now. I don't have a son. I don't have a daughter. So I have 5 properties. What do I do? For me, the thing is, can you live comfortably day to day without worrying about a paycheck after 2 weeks? And we're not talking about, if you notice, Black Friday started after
Thanksgiving.
After Halloween. Right?
Oh wow.
Yeah, they said Black Friday. And so I'm like, really? And that's
I'm out of touch.
no.
They started early this year. They changed it.
No, the intentional didn't. I would tell you this. Since I've been out for 6 months, you and about 3 other people who I have to give much respect and much prop for is that you're still rocking and you're doing your thing. And my beautiful queen, Tamika, respect. because you guys are bringing it out here. I'm gonna tell you, I turned 60 about a couple of years ago, a couple of days ago, a couple of years ago. It was a couple of years ago.
You planning.
Yeah,
You planning. That's what that is.
But I would tell all the Gen Z people, if we're talking to them, is that this. Stop worrying about what people think about you. Start thinking about where you should be moving in the near future. Today is what you have. Today, look here. So I talk to people about this. When a person pulled over in front of me, they go, well, didn't you get mad? I said, well, getting mad is on me. What they did is on them. So I have a choice to control that. Now, I'm going to tell you, Gen X or Gen Z, do you have property? Do you have a financial background? I mean, that is, do you have money sitting where, if things happen? Do you understand the automotive thing is crashing? Look, I'm going to buy a Ford F-150 Platinum Plus. That's about almost $100,000. I'm not bragging about that. What I'm saying is that even if I buy that vehicle, it's diminishing. Once I bought it, once I put it off the lot, it's diminishing. So why am I buying this? It's because of my own pleasure. Now, is my pleasure so much that it eclipses what my financial situation is? Now, look here. You're going to get put into a situation where you have to, if you're in an apartment, most of us are in apartments. Most of us are in apartments. So apartments means you have no leverage. So let's start thinking about how we're going to get into a property. Like right now, it's 8% interest rate. That is ridiculous. 8%. But let me tell you, we're going to do a class on this. I'm going to have some real estate people with this. I want you, Gen Z or Gen X, to pay. I don't pay attention to it because I'm focused more on the backside of what I'm dealing with. And I'm going to tell you, if you're not enjoying who you are at the present point, you will not get to where you want to go. Look here. I can be broke down there. Look here. I told people this. I was homeless. I talked to my doctor about this. I was homeless about 2 or 3 years ago. Now I own $5 million worth of property. Now, look here. When I tell you that I own this, I'm not trying to tell you to join my seminar or do all this other bull crap. No, you don't need to do that. When you want to get invested into where you want to go, start having a team. What's up, honey? I'm live. It's my wife. No, she's helped me get to this, honey. Sweetheart. Yeah, I don't know. Okay, but I'm gonna tell you this. Wherever you want to go, and you know this, intentional millionaire, you know this. Have a plan. Start looking at, if you start stacking your money right now, when it comes to this time, like I guarantee you, okay, so when we said this is what's gonna happen. 2024. I don't care who you are as a Republican or Democrat, they're all going to lie to you, but they're going to lower the interest rate in the late year of 2024. It's going to happen, but the interest rate, where they lower it, because it's 8% right now. Are they going to lower it to where you can get into this? Now, if you're a veteran, now let me tell you this. We just saw this recently on the news. The Naval Federal Credit Union has been the most disgruntled against African-American borrowers.
Let me jump in for a second there, Seattle. Yeah. So not to cut you off, but let's stick to debt, because I don't want to get off on because there's no real factual stuff on that. That's been a whole bunch of miscommunicated information. So let's kind of stick to just the Gen Z.
Okay. Yeah.
And not to cut you off, but I just don't want to go off because we got 2 more people in the back also.
Oh, I apologize. Yeah.
No, you're fine.
Yeah, but yeah, okay, because I'm in a Naval Federal Credit Union. I have credit cards with those guys. So yeah, and I agree with the intentional area. don't want to get you into that portal because it's a lot to deal with. So if we want to deal with our new brothers and sisters here, I would say this. Um, it's going to be, gas is high. Well, I'm in Washington State. Gas is high. All this is it's high interest rate. If you are really looking for that, I would say find you a mentor. But the mentor, don't follow them all the way to where they are. Follow them to where they can help you get to where you want to be. I'll leave it alone. Okay, I thank you for having me up.
Oh, no problem. I appreciate you. You was on the stream a while ago with Uncle Stu, so it's been a while, but it's good to see you.
Salute to Uncle Stu, and he has a lot of good information to give you young brothers and sisters as well. So yeah, thank you so much,
and we appreciate you. And I'm gonna have you come back up so you can share some more of the foundation of the real estate, because you rocking and rolling over there in Seattle. You over there, you getting all that property so you can hire, get some of them Amazon employees to rent from you. I get it. I get it.
Yeah, no, but I'm gonna tell you, I have to say this real quick. This is what happened. Where I live in the ocean, going up towards Japan and Canada on the Washington State side. What happened was this. The pandemic, when the coronavirus hit, a lot of those Airbnbs were not able to sell. They were not able to do anything. And so it was another place called Seabrook that blew up. And I guarantee you, it looks like California, looks like Florida, like a Disneyland place. But they're able to get $11,000 a week for people who come up there and want to live next to the ocean in Washington State. Now, when you want to buy property, you have to look at where you're buying it. And what did it say? Intentional millionaire, this location.
Mm-hmm.
Fact.
Yeah. And so the property I was able to get into, it was astronomical. We brought the guy down, and I don't want to get into all that, but we brought the guy down. We're able to put $250,000 down, which lowered the interest rate. So people need to know about that. If you're going to buy a property and you have that money, you can put more money down to lower the interest rate. Now, dig this. I'm telling everybody this. When election time comes up, they're going to lie, because they're going to lower interest rates. They're going to do everything to make them make sure that they're looking good. This is where you need to have your money, because I guarantee you right now it's 8% interest rate. Watch what happens in November next year. Actually, in the summer, watch the interest rate drops down. And this is where, if you have your money, and this is why I always tell my brothers and sisters, money, keep it on you all the time, because when it comes time to take advantage of that, they're going to drop it down to I'm dealing right now at 8% interest rate, but I was able to put $200,000 down because I saved on that. When it comes to this year coming up in this summer, watch it drop down, because they're going to be voting, and they're going to drop it down to a refi and get a lower interest rate. So I have to tell everybody what the deal is.
You got the strategy. So so it's good to have you. When you get a chance in the chat, could Learning and Earning have a question for you. So when you get a chance, just possibly reply to this chat.
I'll do my darndest. Thank you so much.
Appreciate you.
I appreciate you, because I know you got to go. Thank you. And my beautiful sister, thank you too.
All right. So we're going to bring up Uncle Stu next. What is going on, Uncle Stu? We're going to bring you up on the panel. How's it going?
Everything is doing well. How you doing, my sister Tam and the Intentional Millionaire? I'm not going to hold y'all up. I'm just going to speak to the latter part. I think what I would tell anybody, I don't care what your Gen Z, Gen X, Millennial, any of those other alphabets in the generation. I think in 2024, it's time to pick up a skill set. And it's time to pick up a skill set, because skills is what's going to bring you the income that you need. I know for a fact that if you pick up a skill set, especially a skill set where either A, other people don't want to do, or B, something you love to do, that's going to end up putting you in a place of value. And too many times we have the skill sets of the masses and not of the minority. So I would say pick up a skill set that is of the minority. Why? Because minorities is the one that are going to make the value. They're the ones that's going to get paid the most. Why? Because it's very few in numbers. So let's look at it like this. Anybody can be a waiter or waitress, but not everybody can own a restaurant. Two different skill sets. Anybody can pick up a broom and a mop, but not everybody can work for the chemical plant that creates the chemicals to go into that mop bucket. I make it sound another way. Anybody can pick up a computer and learn a skill and learn a trade that's going to be able to give you the money and the wealth that you need. You don't have to do it the old way. A lot of people don't need to go to college anymore in the sense of earning a 4-year degree or even a master's degree. But you can pick up a skill online or just go to a particular college for no more than 2 years, and 2-year degrees can put you in a position to make the income that you make. Second, outside of learning a skill set, learn how to own and operate a business, even if it's no more than a part-time business. Use your full-time job as your main income and your part-time business as a way of producing extra income. Learn how to make an extra $50 a month. $50 might pay your phone bill. Well, make it $100 now. $100 might pay a phone bill. You know, extra $150 might be your gas. You pick up a little bit more money, that might pay the phone bill, gas, and the electric bill. That's less that's coming out of your pocket that you had to actually go to a 40-hour or 39-hour work week for. That would be my suggestion to the younger generation. But one thing that I recognize after living on this beautiful earth for 56 years, a lot of people isn't going to put on work. A lot of people isn't going to take the knowledge and run. So for those that's doing the knowledge and hurt because they don't have a crew that wants to go with them, you got to remember that's less competition. And that's how I live each and every single day. If you don't want to put in the work and the effort to make more money, then that means there's less competition for me to get a bigger piece of the pie. Sometimes everybody can't go with you. Not everybody can lead. Not everybody is built for this. You had the gentleman on that spoke about being in the military. Everybody can't be special forces. Everybody can't be a ranger. Everybody can't do those jobs and do those positions as glamorous as it is. Why? Because you got to go through a rigorous training. And they do that training because they'll bring in 100, knowing that the end of that training, they're only going to have 20 people remaining. But they know that they got the best of the 20. I gave you a scripture earlier. Let me elaborate on some of the things that the word says. He says, I will give you more if you know how to manage the less. Many of us can't manage the less, so there's no way we can be blessed. So if you can't manage $20, how is God going to give you $100? And if you can't manage the $100, how is he going to bless you for 1,000? Why? Because if he gives you the 1,000, you're going to give it away to the enemy. So that's basically all I had to say. I don't want to hold up your stream. I think y'all two had an awesome conversation. I believe y'all gave perfect knowledge, perfect wisdom. Tam, I feel your pain. I feel your hurt. Solomon says in the book of wisdom, he says, the more knowledge I receive, the more understanding I have, the sorrowful I feel. And so what is he saying? Because sometimes, and I have these behind the scenes conversations with Tim. Sometimes the more I learn, the more I study, the more I see how to get things done and how to maneuver in life, it also there's a pain there because you want to teach it. You want everybody to win.
Mm-hmm.
You want everybody to win. That's a winning spirit. But everybody ain't gonna win. You talk about a casualty of war. Everybody couldn't graduate high school on time. Everybody couldn't graduate college on time. Everybody can't go to the NBA. Everybody can't go to the NFL. A lot of people can't do it. So the best thing for you to do is never look down on the person that couldn't do it, but you got to keep going and keep doing what you got to do. Some people are called and some people went. YouTube is a hard battle. A lot of people want the easy road. That's why the biggest platforms when it comes to finance are what? The ones that's doing the hustle, the con, the you can get this overnight. You can do this in 5 steps. Send me $100. I'll fix your credit. Oh, that's the easy way. But if you tell somebody just dealing with credit, hey man, why don't you just go online and pull your credit for free? You allowed to have your credit report for free once a year. Go pull your credit report. First thing you check is all the information on your credit report correct? If it's not correct, you go free online and, dispute what's not correct. Sometimes just disputing what's not correct can help your credit score. Then you see is everything financially on your credit report, is that right? And if it's right, then what you do is call those particular creditors. And for some creditors, if you owe $500, you can negotiate. Hey, look, I ain't got $500. I may only have $250. You'd be surprised. A lot of them might take half of what they're actually looking for. And then they'll take it and it'll never be reported. And your credit score will go up as each one of those debts. Pay your bills on time, period. Just pay it on time. And your credit score will go up. What do they say? 35% of your credit score is just on-time payments. That's free. You don't have to pay for it. You ain't got to go find somebody to do it. You can do it for free. And all it do is take you 5 minutes of your own time to do something that you're paying somebody $100 to do. Don't make sense to me, but people like the easy route. Hard work pays off. It's been that way since the beginning of time. And no matter how many computers we got, no matter how much AI information is out here, the system has not changed. Hard work pays off. This is the long haul. We're going for the marathon, not for the sprint. Okay, I think I'm done now.
Drops the mic.
Was y'all able to hear me real good?
Yeah, you was clear for me.
Oh, okay. Can you hear me? Okay, there you go. I'm sorry, I was muted. I was talking to myself. But no, that's a great great insight there, Uncle Stu, because Gen Z, they get take every little bit, and this is not just for Gen Z. It's just we targeting Gen Z, but it's for everyone. Because no matter where you at, the information is tried and true, and they're going to stand the test of time. So appreciate you, Uncle Stu. I'm gonna bring you down because we got Vondale in the back.
Okay,
Vondale, I'm gonna bring you up, but before you go, Vondale, I'm gonna share this. This job offer in New York. So I'm gonna share this real quick, but we're gonna bring you up. All right, Uncle Stu, I'm gonna drop you back down.
All right, thank you, sir.
What is going on, Vondale? How's it going?
Oh, what's going on, Intentional Millionaire? How's everything going today?
Everything's going pretty good. So, Vondale, before we rock out, I'm gonna bring up this. I'm gonna share my screen real quick.
And then hurt some feelings, Tim. Finna hurt some feelings. This is what I do in my off time.
Because people don't think this is the type of incomes that people could make. So we gotta be about it. We're gonna be about it, and we're gonna show you that we're about it.
So, okay, Selby Jennings, I've had this recruiter on before. He works in the blockchain crypto space, high frequency trading. HFT, high frequency trading. This particular position that I gave him pays anywhere. It's a range between 350,000 a year to 1 million. Now, here's where the pushback is going to come in. People are going to be like, well, how do I get into that because I'm a beginner? Or how do I get into that because I don't have that skill set? And what I'm trying to show you is the skill set, being strategic about the skill sets that you get can yield certain jobs. So that $100,000 that I was just talking about, that 200,000, that 300,000, that long term, that multimillionaire stuff, this is how it starts. And all I'm simply saying to you is, I'm not telling you to go be a high frequency trader, crypto trader, a portfolio manager. The one that I had out there on my short was paying 5 million to 10 million. What I'm telling you is the jobs exist. Go find the skill set and where you can get the skill set in order to get in the arena. That's all I'm simply saying. If you don't want to do it, don't do it. But don't stop somebody else from doing it. It's really what I'm saying. But if you want to do it, here you go. And Joe is the guy. He's gonna come. I gotta see if he's gonna be available next Wednesday, because we've been trying to get together, because we're actually trying to create a boot camp to get people the skill sets for high frequency trading. Because the number one thing he said to me is, I don't never see no black people. And the number two thing he said is, they looking for him. So all I'm trying to show is, it's out there. You want to eat? Let's eat. If you want to eat at Piggly Wiggly, like Kelsey Hightower said, if you want to eat at Piggly Wiggly, cool. I'm with it. But if you want to go to the farm and get fresh food and go other places, then come with me. Let's go. All you gotta do is get on the bus, like the show. That's it, Tim. I'm done. I just wanted to show that.
Yeah, and I'm gonna bring you up, Vondale, but who put it? Kevin mentioned a key point too. They only had 10 applicants. So it goes back to what Uncle Stu was sharing is, hey, you get a specialized skill set, you weed out a lot of competition. I mean, but that's good. So Vondale, so what you got for us, Vondale? There you go. So how's it going, Vondale?
Oh, it's going great. Oh, it's going great. And Mom said hello too.
Oh, tell Miss Linda I said hello and hola and Merry Christmas and all of that fun stuff.
Yeah, when I was listening to with you today, I was thinking about, we have to invest in skill sets. And we need to stop spending on the dumb stuff. Big time. I see people that are doing that is getting into debt over some dumb stuff. I don't even celebrate Christmas because people are just spending over some dumb stuff instead of being what it's really about, which is about family.
Right. That's facts. So what is so Vondale? So you, I know you pretty sharp, and you know a lot of what's going on across the different generations, things like that. So what are some of the things that you would recommend that somebody that's in Gen Z, what would be something you would recommend for them to do?
I would start out with finding books, finding free. Start with the free stuff, like with the books first and the libraries first. That's what I would start with, and then work your way up to mentors and different programs. And also listen to a lot of financial YouTube like A-Lux.
I'm gonna add to your thing. The library still works.
Yeah.
Fact. And it's still free. All you need is just go in and put your name and email down.
Yeah, you do. I mean, listen to A-Lux, listen to financial channels like you, Orlando Minor, and that's just on the black side. For the white side, I would listen to people like Garrett Gunderson.
Mm-hmm.
Garrett Gunderson is one of the good guys, and he talks about just money and finance, but in a human perspective.
Yeah, he don't have a lot of technical jargon and things like that. It's just about just people and money.
Yeah, it's about people and money and getting to your goals for the rest of your life. And also invest in your health, and especially your mental health as well.
Fact.
I agree.
So
So
you got any?
that's all I'm going to say for now, but I'll be back soon.
Okay, well, I definitely appreciate you coming up, Vondale, and tell Miss Linda I said hello.
All right.
And we'll catch you on the next stream. And I know you're probably gonna be still in the chat, so
Yeah.
we'll go from there.
All right.
Appreciate you.
Appreciate you. Thank you.
All right, you back, Tam? Oh, there
I'm
we
back.
go. I'm
Yeah,
back.
I'm back.
So Tam, I think this was a great stream. We had a great conversation. I'm gonna say let's get ready to wrap it up. First thing is I want to say thanks to everyone that's in the chat that tuned in. We really appreciate all the support. Definitely make sure that if you know of anyone that need a strategy, need a plan, looking to do something different, they said enough is enough, then definitely send them on over to myself and Tam, where we can really start walking them through, having them plug into our YouTube channel so they can start really walking through the process to really get their skill sets up, start making them more money. But then also, as they're making them more money, now we need a strategy to make sure that we keep the money and we grow the money so we can be working on all cylinders. And then do like I like to say what Tam say. We want more people to become Deca millionaires. That what goes with the 10-year plan, 10 million in assets.
One skill away from 200K, man. One skill away, man. Just one skill away. Just stack your skills and with that, don't be afraid. Because I think a lot of times we get sometimes we scare ourselves, right? Like, is this really okay for me to do this? And the answer is yes. It's okay for you to be successful. It's okay for you to stack your skills. It's okay for you to go in rooms that it's a lot of salt in the rooms and you the only pepper. It's okay. It's okay for you to go in a room and be smart. It's okay. You don't have to. I hate saying dumb yourself down. You don't have to shrink yourself to fit into something. Be bold. Watch people. Watch how they talk. Watch what they eat. Watch how they move. Right? Watch who they talk to all the time. Be very observant. Right? Sometimes you can walk in a room and just sit back and look and analyze and like, okay, this who's who, this is what they do, who's that person, what's that person, what they do, blah 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 blah. And now you start to see, okay, well, that you start connecting the dots. I don't know if y'all ever been in rooms where people ask you this question, because I get it all the time. They'll be like, so how'd you hear about this company? I didn't. They found me. Oh, the assumption is I was looking for them rather than they was looking for me. They found me. I didn't find them. They found me. Another one that gets assumed all the time that puts the big O on people's faces. Well, how do you know about this type of environment? And then you hit on one of with it. I've been doing this for 20 years. Oh, uh, oh, okay. So it's a lot of preconceived notions. It goes across the board. It don't matter the race. My last one is I use that to my advantage. Why? Because now I know you have a lot of preconceived notions about things. So that means your viewpoint is limited. That means your mindset and your outlook is limited. That means I don't need to talk to you. I'm done, Tim. I need to talk to you.
I don't need to talk to you. Let me hold that thought. Let me go on over here.
Yeah. Be right back.
But no, so I think we should get ready to wrap up.
I'm cool.
Also, let me give a few shout outs. We had 2 more people don't send super chat. So let me give a super chat to keep it techie. He said, great conversation. Salute. We appreciate the super chat.
You.
Thanks. Also, we have Helmet Chill said, salute. Catch the replay. We appreciate you.
Thank you, Helmet.
Thanks for the super chat.
And let's give this person a shout out. Let's give a round of applause. Baby, make a hand clap to D in the background. Everybody give it up for D in the
Listen,
back.
I was going to say that because I saw she had it last. We definitely going to give it up for D. We like to say D is, she give us the heavy hand in the back. She keep everything in order. She does a great job. And we definitely appreciate you, D.
We say you, D. We say you, D. That's right. Y'all put hand claps in the chat for D. Yeah, D. Hand clap for D. Hand clap for D. All right. Yeah. Hey.
But you all have a great Merry Christmas. Make sure you be safe out there. And don't get so caught up on the gifts. Get caught up on appreciating the time and the experiences that you get a chance to have with family, friends, close people you don't know. And just do this one thing going into the new year. Smile more. Because right now we're going into an era where it's more people that is distraught. It's more people that has a lot more confusion. More people that's giving up hope. So just smile and be that light that maybe you might impact some person and give them another chance to fight again. So with that being said, this is Tim, also known as the Intentional Millionaire. And also we got Women in Linux, Tam and D. So definitely make sure you go over and check out their channel also. And we'll catch you all on the next video. And also have a happy new year. Don't be drinking and driving. And if you love someone and they drank, take their keys and let them spend the night, or pay for Lyft or Uber so they can get home safely. With that being said, catch you all in the next video.
See y'all later.